Welcome to Weston-super-Mare train station, where the project we're seeking funding for is going to be developed. And here we are at the Open Return Gardens, which is the garden that we've set up at Weston train station, which we would like to develop further.
Okay, so we're Grow Feral and we set this garden up. We've been going for about 3 or 4 years in Weston. We've been making small garden spaces in the town with a focus on bringing creativity to gardening and making spaces that are informal, so focusing on wild gardening.
We took this patch of land over in 2022 and when we first came to see it work on it, it was completely overgrown, covered in brambles and nettles. So the first part of the work was clearing this space, and we worked with women who were doing community payback through probation services to clear the area. And then over the last couple of years we've been putting in the different infrastructure like the raised beds. 6 months of 2024 we were working hard to bring in more volunteers into the garden, residents in the local community, to support and work in the garden with the idea that eventually we're supporting people to take ownership of the garden and to be the people who are looking after it. We also worked in the summer with home education groups and families locally, running a project called Biophilia, which was about connecting people to nature and young people to nature. And you can see some of the signs here which are showing people the kind of things we're doing in the garden, just to get people more involved.
So we inherited the garden with lots of existing trees, which is wonderful. We wanted to focus on creating 2 sort of wildflower sides, so with a view that you walk through the centre of the garden and there's wildflowers on each side. So we've been trying to develop that for some time, and we're learning about the garden as we go along. So this side of the garden is very shady, so we've had some sort of limited success. Well, we've got some planters which we had donated last year, but this we cleared back a lot of the trees, so we'd really like to develop this area into a sort of medicinal garden, focusing on plants that we can use within medicine and herbs, and then that also opens up the opportunity for us to do sessions and workshops around making tinctures and making tea bags and how to use plants in medicinal sort of settings. We'd really like to work with some people who know more about that stuff to help us to sort of do that way. So many of the train station gardens are quite formal, and so what we're trying to do with this space is to show that there's a different way of doing things. We had this shelter built last year with a bit of funding that we got, but it's not quite workable yet because we need to make sure it's secure, and the wind took the roof off. But the idea is that we make this a secure place with a clear roof so that we can grow our own seeds. So that will be a real game changer for us, actually, just to be able to have this space to do that. So assistance with getting a better roof, putting a door on.
Authority, North Somerset Council declared a climate emergency last year, and as part of the things they're trying to put in place, they're trying to establish wildlife corridors to encourage wildlife to kind of move from the Western Woods, which are kind of up there that you can't see, over to the sand dunes, which are really close to our garden in the other direction. We're really keen on making this a green space that sits within those priorities and also allows us to increase biodiversity in what's quite an urban area where a lot of people don't have access to much nature, or they've got very small gardens or no access to gardens. So we feel this is a really important space for people to be able to connect with nature. So in summary of what we're trying to achieve with our project, we're trying to connect people with nature, including passengers who are passing through the train station, and is right in the middle of an area of high deprivation. So we want to seek to engage with people in the local community and give them a chance to engage with nature in a place that's really close to them and easy to get to.